for a while, but...
Good tidings. I am Mara, Queen of Atlantis. I am contacting you on behalf of my king and husband, Arthur. You may know him as Aquaman. Please meet me at the docks in Central City, but use caution. The streets are under siege.
Oh. Well, I went to the cinema today, as well as the doctors. Yeah, the doctor's stuff isn't exactly going to be much fun. I've got to have an X-ray done of my lower back, pelvis. Could be detached bone. Could be. Well, there's a chance I might have some form of tumour or cancer. So if all of a sudden I look very slim, it's probably because I'm going to have chemotherapy. But it's open whether it could be a condition known as coccyxosis. Well, I hope it is because, well, I don't fancy dying of cancer. So, you know, I was a little bit the lady doctor having to look up my bottom, but she said there was nothing visible, so you know, it's not tumours, fortunately. Well, nothing popping out, but it's still a bit, you know, worrying. But I definitely have a reason to live after going to the cinema, though. I watched the new what do they call it? Avengers movie. It's weird to me because the oh shit! I just realised I put all the fucking stuff in the wrong side. Yeah, the Infinity Wars I already knew about because I read the comics back in the 90s that were the Infinity Wars, namely the Infinity Gauntlet story that originally was the Silver Surfer story. So it's a little bit weird for me because, you know, it's like, say, having a Superman film with a Batman plot. You know, it's not what I was initially expecting. Ugh, no. Oh, that's more like it. Yeah, so, you know, it was Silver Surfer. So it was a little bit weird to me. I mainly went to see it because I'm a huge fan of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Excuse me. Allergies. Spring is in the air, and if you're seeing more pollen than usual, it's because poison ivy is spreading spores across Gotham. It's gotten bad enough that Swamp Thing is stepping in.
Ooh.
Speak to him in the watchtower.
Greetings. I am Swamp Thing, and I represent the green, growing things of this planet. It is spring, the time for all living things to grow. Poison ivy seeks to disrupt the balance. She must be stopped.
Oh. Okay. Hang on, I missed something.
I'm Dr. Sarah Charles from Star Labs, and we're here to help with the poison ivy incident. There have been numerous reports about Ivy's latest work in the Gotham sewers. I've got a team ready to move, and Swamp Thing is willing to give us a hand. Meet them inside the sewer.
Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah, drama-wise, I watched something on Twitter from TMZ that I am I was flabbergasted. I knew that Kano, or whatever his name is, the rapper or hip hop bloke or whatever. I knew he was a bit of a dick, but bloody hell. He's only said now that slavery was a choice. So all those black people who were taken from Africa all the way to Cuba and then sold into destructive slavery, it was their choice. It wasn't that they were victims or anything. What a fucking idiot. Still, I've been laughing all week that all of these conservatives who, for ages and ages, made a big deal about how thug culture and all that. Oh, it's all terrible. Yeah. All these conservatives for years and years and years have been going, oh, the reason why black areas of cities are bad is because of A, B and C, and I was like, I don't think so. I think it's a little bit more than that. And for a long time they were blaming music and rappers, and then all of a sudden one of them is friendly with Trump. They're all sort of running to his defence. And then he goes and says something really fucking stupid. I'm expecting them all to sort of drop him like a bad habit now.
That smell, I couldn't break away. Thanks. Thank heavens you showed up.
So the Avengers movie was very, very good. it felt a lot like a Lord of the Rings movie, actually, the way that it jumped from one place to another, which I got no problems with. I won't give away the ending, but if you got kids, you might want to wait for part 2 to come out before you watch part 1.
Must mulch the
Brain squad. Hey, thanks. But I gotta get out of here.
I haven't got a clue about rap. The closest I listened to rap was Cypress Hill back in the 90s. And I only listened to them really because they were more like a mixture of rap and rock music. I don't know about it being a culture.
To stop them! Stop!
I've never liked rap music because it seems to completely lack any harmony. No, I don't know. Yeah, but you could say that about anything. You know, rock singers and punk bands aren't exactly the most legal bunch going. Yeah, maybe, I don't know. Well, that's nothing new. Jazz singers and crooners were linked with mafia and gangsters. You know, what's his name? Frank Sinatra was the link between Hollywood and the organised crime gangs of Chicago and New York.
God of War, is often worn by Vane's street forces.
That really hurt! What gives? Now I'll never get to have that.
Where are these bloody pods?
This is bad.
Well, you could even go back as far as classical music. Classical music was
Quick!
many of the people involved with that were given money by very shady characters. I don't know, you see, because I've never liked rap music. I've actually actively thought that when they put rap music into films, it actually damaged the films.
Low on energy? Let Soda Cola pick you up. Give yourself a boost with Soda Cola.
Get ready to rumble! You're like fool! Wait! That is supposed to make me invincible! Why did you... Wow, that really hurt! What gives?
It's quite funny, all of the sudden support for Red Pill Black. I can remember a period last year where she was like one of the most hated people in the right wing. When she had that website where they reckoned that she was doxing people. Right. Still, most of the skeptic community are on their last legs after the screw up of the bloody Kilroy event. I'm like, blimey. 128 people. I can remember a period when the skeptic community were bigger than the bloody what do they call them, gaming community.
Critical damage. Alpha critical. Target arms transferred. Minor damage. Submitting target.
Yeah, I know the Comic-Con, but the problem is that the skeptic community's been dying anyway, and they've got no one who's a real sort of celebrity. Really, what they should have done was have something like run it off of Vimeo and had it as a digital download event. Or a pay-per-view event. They'd have made a lot more money off of it, a lot more people would have watched it. Because the problem it being in Arizona is that it's quite a long way for a lot of people. There are a lot of skeptics and anti-SJWs and all that lot who live in England. And there's no way that they were going to get on a plane and go to Arizona. Still, I don't wholly believe that it was all a con to begin with, just so Base Mama could make a load of money, but I don't know. You know, watching Monday Matt there, I did get the distinct feeling that he was sort of trying to pretend that he was happy, but you know, it was something about his eyes looked very sad. Well, yeah, that, and also the speakers didn't say anything new. You know, Christine Hoff Summers' speech she gave was exactly the same speech she gives all the time because she works for Prager University. I don't think that they're going to have another event myself. I think it's a bit unlikely. You know, the Mythicon Milwaukee thing, supposedly there's some people involved with that say that it might not even go ahead now. Because the problem is that the fad of being an anti-SJW was mainly because Obama was in charge. And Obama, though I never saw Obama doing anything pro-SJW, his opposition was so crazy that, you know, people would be open to believe in BuzzFeed being sort of as powerful as people thought they were, but now Trump just says the most insane, stupid things all the time. Most people have all of a sudden woken up to what happens when you put a right-winger in charge. It's like I'm sort of counting the days till someone finally wakes up to the fakery of Jordan Peterson. But all he is an evangelist in disguise. He recently claimed that atheists aren't really atheists, they just think they're atheists, but in reality God is telling them, but they're not listening. And he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? But I knew he was an evangelist from like one of his talks. He did a talk, a debate with Sam Harris, and he spent 3 hours trying to convince Sam Harris that the goodness in people isn't inherent in them. There's some special divine power. And he said this is because in ancient times people had these special abilities to know right from wrong. And that's before people understood what morality was, but they still did right from wrong and stuff. So you're basically saying that human beings can't naturally be good. They need some higher being. That North Korea thing will be gone by the end of the year. I give the current leader about 6 months before his plane crashes into a mountain and someone else takes over who will be just as bad as the current lot. North Korea is too much believing your own bullshit to suddenly become a peaceful country. They're also very backward. People don't realise how backward North Korea is. That their society isn't even based on the 20th century, it's based on the 19th century. If you look at pre-communist China, that's what North Korea is today.
Target.
There's no public ownership of vehicles, motorised vehicles. Everyone travels around on bicycles. Well, actually, there probably is a lot of drugs in their society, because they're certainly not growing food. They're reliant on the West to give them food.
Assistance required. Subduing target.
And they're constantly told that we give them food to stop them killing us. They're so deluded over there that they believe that they're like super people, that they could defeat, one of their men could defeat 500 of ours. Even though that they've got an actual growth issue in that they're about a foot shorter than their the people of South Korea.
Engaging enemy. Status critical.
If you want a complete understanding of North Korea, the person to read up on, because he's been there, is Christopher Hitchens. Christopher Hitchens said that if you wanted to find the one state in the world that is the most religious, you need to go to North Korea, because they don't just believe that the leadership are powerful because they're politicians, they believe they're living gods. And actually the leader of North Korea isn't the leader of North Korea. The leader of North Korea, it died 50 years ago, and his ghost still rules. Yeah, each of the rulers since has been like a region.
Impaired. Critical damage. Initiate combat. Alpha critical.
Yeah, well, they're seen as gods. It actually reminds me most of ancient Rome, because Caligula thought that he was actually Jupiter reborn to the flesh, because he was surrounded by people who wouldn't lie to him. Well, they couldn't tell him the truth. They couldn't tell him a lie. His fantasies were constantly reaffirmed, a bit like Trump. Trump's surrounded by people who keep telling him how wonderful he is as a leader. I think the most cringy thing I've ever seen is where he had a meeting of all the senior staff, and he was sat around this table and each of them had to tell him how wonderful he was. I'm like, Jesus Christ, you want that man in charge of nuclear weapons? Still, it's quite fortunate that Trump is so out of touch, because the reality is that most of the people in the military think he's a dick.
Status critical.
Still, the most ironic thing that happened recently was the whole Syria thing, where the people who claim that they're patriots on the right were all running to the defence of Russia. That Putin was saying that the poison gas attack was by Britain or by America or by this or by that, and loads of right-wingers were saying, oh yeah, he's right. Just shows you where their real patriotism lies. Well, part of the problem with North Korea, if you visit the place, is supposedly they can change the law at the drop of a hat, because there's no actual Supreme Court. It's just literally the court system makes things up as they go along, which is the pure sign of a dictatorship. Because in a pure dictatorship, it's why America's not a dictatorship, and certainly the UK's not a dictatorship, is because in a dictatorship you wouldn't have the rules written down.
Alpha protocol engaged.
You'd literally make the rules up as you go along. Well, there was that fella who was who stole a poster when he was visiting North Korea, and they gave him 10 years hard labour, and then they tortured him by doing the head dunking underwater, and it gave him brain damage, and then they handed him back. Why you'd want to go to North Korea, I haven't got a clue.
Sustain.
Yeah, but lots of Asian countries eat dogs. It's not just Thailand, they also eat dogs in Cambodia because, you know, well, they eat pigs, but the problem is a pig isn't as upwardly mobile as a dog. And if you've got countries that are affected by things like hurricanes or earthquakes, you know, you're going to eat anything that's on four legs. Because I've been studying a little bit about disasters recently, because I'm going to try and write my own end of the world film. One of the weirdest things that I read about was the hurricane that affected America a couple of years ago, where they evacuate areas. That the biggest threat to human beings wasn't other human beings, it was actually dogs. Domestic dogs going savage. Because if a dog's not fed, well, yeah, Catherine, but also the Texas flooding that they had recently, there were areas that were evacuated, and when the people went back in, they were being attacked by domestic dogs.
This area is restricted.
And the domestic dogs, the bigger breeds would eat the littler breeds. Which is an oddity that most people thought they'd go after all the farm animals, but they left most of the farm animals alone and went after the small breeds of dog. Yeah, yes, they go feral. It's like the dingoes in Australia. They're not actually a native dog. They're a Dutch breed of hound that went wild. Because the early settlers weren't really well prepared for the terrain. A lot of them died from things like malnutrition and lack of water, but their pets kept living and went off and started eating the wildlife. Went completely savage.
Systems failing.
So, you know, if the apocalypse does come, I'm not worried about zombies. I'm more worried about getting eaten by Fido. Because there's a lot more domestic dogs than there are any other predators that human beings eat.
Alert.
Cats won't attack human beings unless it's something like a puma, but dogs would. Yeah, but alligators don't really come very far inland.
Minor damage.
Even though, oddly, sharks have been known to travel up rivers in America. Bull sharks in particular go up the Mississippi. Yeah, well, there's large domestic pigs can get really big. I know, I did pig farming. A female pig can get up to something like 600 pounds if it's fed properly, given enough exercise. And their teeth are pretty bloody sharp as well.
Assistance required.
And pigs will eat anything. You can put a dead body in a pigsty and they'll eat it eventually. Because they've got a brilliant system in their gut that can digest decomposing flesh. The same bacteria that rats have as well, that they can practically eat anything.
Minor damage. Systems failing. Performance impaired.
Yeah. Well, people don't understand that pigs, rhinos, elephants and hippopotamus all come from the same genetic family. They all have a shared cousin.
Damage sustained.
That came along at the end of the Second Ice Age.
Engaging enemy.
And then, no, the end of the First Ice Age. And by the Second Ice Age, mammals really sort of kicked in. And you had creatures like woolly mammoths and woolly rhinos. Also, they were a lot bigger because the atmosphere had a lot more oxygen in it. It's one of the reasons why you'll never get dinosaurs being real, even with genetic engineering, because their body wouldn't be able to process the oxygen. There's not enough oxygen in our atmosphere. Yeah. Well, they're omnivores as well, pigs. It's like bears. The reason why you've got so many bears in the wild is because there's no predators that are really a big threat to them apart from human beings. The Banisher. I'm guessing that he's a Punisher copycat. Not as cool as one Flash.
Objective in sight.
If you can kill a boar, preferably using crossbow, the meat is a lot better than anything you'll get on a farm, because boars eat anything, so the meat isn't full of hormones. Because the problem that most farmed meat is, why it's so tasteless, is because we've pretty much farmed all of the goodness out of them. Slow way to get your XP damage.
Target coordinates transmitted. Initiate knockout.
Well, really, the easiest way to harvest animals in the wild isn't to use a gun at all, it's to set traps. It's very easy to set something like a Burberry's noose, which, you know, it's like creating a Christ, what they call it? It's like creating a hanging noose out of razor wire, and the more the animal pulls on it, the more blood they lose. So they basically die. You know, or dig a pit and put spikes at the bottom of it. That's a popular one. You know, an animal's just an animal. You leave food out for it, it'll come looking for it. Well, legality I always find a little bit with hunting. You know, I've gone survival hunting myself, where we build our own spear and arrows, set traps. Even a fish trap is really easy to make. If you've got a river, you literally, it's putting a net across the river so the fish can't swim, and then you close the trap in and you've got yourself 20 or 30 fish. You know, as long as you're not stupid, living off the land is pretty easy if you've got a lot of natural wildlife. What amazes me about all these stupid shows like The Walking Dead, where they're doing farming, and I'm like, if you were really in that survival situation, there's plenty of food out in the open that you could eat. You'd probably be a lot safer as well going into the forest, because the zombies aren't going to chase you into a forest. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of The Walking Dead anyway. I prefer Z Nation. I think most of my problem with The Walking Dead is it's so bloody miserable. You know, if the apocalypse did come and millions of people died overnight, you know, yes, it would be sad, and yes, you'd have all of the problems of not having civilization. There'd be a lot of fun things you could do. You know, I go to Disneyland all the time and set up camp in there. Alpha Protocol. And there's plenty of military bases with rations for survival. You know, shit, that bloke, Jim Bakker. His food buckets would be pretty foul-looking food, but at least you can live on it. All that just add water stuff. Assistance required. You know, there'd be a few things you couldn't eat, like ice cream. Well, you could, but getting hold of the milk could be the biggest problem. But one supermarket would have enough food to last me like probably 10 years in canned food. And you got all the dehydrated foods, like even I've seen those dehydrated porridge packs. You can live on them, or pasta. Yeah, but I don't even drink whole milk anymore. I drink soy milk and coconut milk and almond milk. Mainly because whole milk's actually quite bad for you. You don't absorb any of the calcium past the age of 5, and the lactose can actually give you illnesses like diabetes. It's one of the reasons that and people become lactose intolerant. No, you can actually get milk that it looks like regular milk, but it's actually made from coconut milk. It's really nice in coffee.
Thanks.
I just wish I could convince my local barista to get some, because they got soy milk, but soy milk's not as it's not as sweet as coconut milk. But coconut milk's very good for you if you get trouble with your bowels. Well, yeah, but what they do is they take the pulp and they sort of grind it up into a fine paste and drain off the solid parts, and then that's what the milk is that they use.
Protect the plants.
It's like soy milk is the juice of tofu. Literally, they're draining tofu.
Holy brains wash. Hey, thanks.
And it's bullshit that it lowers testosterone. It actually increases your testosterone. But when you got idiots like Paul Joseph Watson, the bloke who used to think that crop circles were communications from aliens.
This is Gotham Now, and I'm Vicky Vale.
That's something you don't hear about anymore.
Has attacked our planet and bottled up our cities. He's leveling entire neighborhoods in his
this big
quest
important
to
person in
Luckily,
InfoWars.
a whole new
His start was in the
some led by our
what's known as the Fortean community in the UK.
These are our best hope
Which are
against
people
the
who
alien
study
menace.
these unexplained and the strange. And his whole claim to fame was crop circles.
This is the worst allergy attack I've ever had.
Which it's really funny. Channel 4 in the UK, they did a whole expose on it, and crop circles were actually being made by a bunch of prankster hippies with a broom and a rope, and they tied a rope to each end of the broom so you had a sort of bow effect, and you'd use that to flatten down the corn. And they just did patterns at random. You had all of these idiots in the Fortean community, including Paul Joseph Watson, saying, "Oh, this is proof of human beings communicating with aliens, and it wasn't. It was just a bunch of people taking the piss. But he's a fucking idiot anyway.
Target coordinates. Whoa!
His research on soy products making men into beta males is just fucking bullshit. When it was broken down into where he got the information from. Anyway, I'm going to end the stream in a minute because I've got to go to bed. Because I've got to be up at 5.
Thank heavens you showed up.
I want to watch a bit of Star Trek before I go to bed. I've got Netflix now, so I've been slowly going through
This
all
is
of
Booster
the
Gold,
series
and when I
from
need energy,
the
I just reach for a
original
delicious,
series,
crisp,
the
refreshing
animated
Soda Cola.
series,
Give yourself a boost with Soda Cola.
the Next Generation.
Back off.
Deep Space Nine, Voyager, Enterprise, which is my favourite show, and Discovery. Even though I got to rewatch Discovery because I sort of got through the whole series in like sort of a hurry. It's okay. It's not. I've seen, you know, better. I think the problem with Discovery is that people don't really have the tolerance for bad writing that people had back in the
You'll be helping us out.
90s. Because the first season of Voyager was a bit of a stinker, and the third season of DS9 was pretty manky in places.
This
Part
is
of the
Vicky
reason why they
Vale for
brought
Gotham
Wolf
Now. The
in
Riddler,
season 4.
a.k.a. Edward Nygma, is best known
people
for
didn't
leaving
really have
riddle
much
clues that
patience
dare the
for it.
authorities to find him. Although Nygma claims to have renounced crime to work as a private eye, Gotham Now has evidence that he and the Joker are working together at Ace Chemicals. Is this the return of the clue-obsessed mastermind? We'll keep you posted here on Gotham Now.
Oh! Whoa! Also, season 3 of Legends of Tomorrow is out on Amazon Prime, so I'm going to have to get that at some point. Because I'm a huge Arrowverse fan. I can't wait for the I think it's season 7 of Arrow. Don't know whether there's going to be a season 3 of Daredevil. I hope there is, because I liked 1 and 2. Especially season 1. I thought season 1 was really good. Certainly the best of the Marvel.
This is Lucius
shows.
Fox. Wayne Tech's newest line
It's
of
weird,
chronometers
DC
guarantees
makes really
accurate
good
timekeeping,
TV.
even in the deepest pressures of space.
From
Wayne
animated
Tech,
shows
solutions
to
through
Arrowverse.
technology.
And Marvel make really good movies, but each side sort of the reverse on other things.
Special today, the Baby Belly
Like
Yummy
Marvel
Tummy Meal
cartoons.
with a free carton of Smile
I can remember watching
GCPD file. The Match Malone. 6 counts of arson,
Spider-Man
3
animated
convictions,
show.
and 1 count of insurance
It
fraud.
looks. I watched some of them recently, and they haven't aged well. You know, the animation's pretty crap. When you consider something like Superman the animated show or Batman the animated show, which still looks as good now as it did back in 1992.
Run!
This is the worst allergy attack I've ever had.
My sister won't be too happy with the
Run!
Infinity War, that there's no baby Groot anymore. He's teenage Groot. Doesn't do a lot actually in the movie. It was a bit. But Peter Quill's really funny. There's a very funny scene where they've got
GCPD
Thor
file.
on the ship.
Knuckles Farrelly,
And,
wanted on multiple counts of assault and battery.
He's trying to act more macho than Thor, and he's putting on a deeper voice. I was very impressed actually, because I thought, you know, it wasn't directed by James Gunn, those scenes. Well, I think he probably did direct it, but sort of shadow directed. Because it definitely, there were scenes in it that felt like they were like from the Guardians of the Galaxy. They had that brilliant sort of humour, especially from David Bautista. You're not a man, you're a dude. Oh god.
Run for your life!
What about these people? Oh, my bum. I'm absolutely amazed that
What happened?
Google
Was
is
I
letting
a plant?
JF Garupi or whatever his name is, the sort of shit that he was showing the other day. Jesus Christ, he had this girl on there, and her opening line was that there should be a genocide of all the people of Africa with nuclear weapons. I'm like, for fuck's sake. Yeah, that don't sound crazy.
Get away!
What's that? Hopefully he'll go too far and then he'll get arrested and then we won't hear from him ever again. He's gone the full Nazi. Yeah, he's not even right wing anymore. He's fascist.
I swear I could hear the plants talking.
Oh, it's one of those that you got to queue up. I wonder why it wasn't activated.
Run for your lives!
Go. Queue. Ready. Hot chocolate with whoa, what the hell? Oh, yeah, a little bit of mead in it.
This is Amanda Waller. You have been recruited by our agency for a Task Force X mission. You will be working with villains from the Suicide Squad Black Ops Division until the operation
Miss
is
Kale sent you,
complete.
right? Good.
In an
We
effort
cornered
to
Swamp
assure
Thing
your
in his sewer.
cooperation,
Place
you
some
have been fitted
dispensers
with a
around the
security
area,
device.
and my team will set
not
them up to
require
release
me
our custom
use it.
toxin. Just protect us and drag Stinky into the fumes. That should weaken him enough to let you pound him into a pulp. Once he's neutralized, we can administer the formula Poison Ivy provided. Let's do it.
What?
Poison Ivy, you and your allies will not succeed in defiling the sanctity of the Green.
I'm a good guy. What am I doing with these jerks?
The monster.
have more work to do.
Oh, I love this sort of thing. I understand I'm on the side of the baddies. And close. Nothing that came from nothing.
Levitt's cameras. Catch the shot as fast as the Justice League catches villains. Snap faster with Levitt's.
You're waiting.
What the hell?
Performance impaired. Damage sustained. Retargeting. Systems damaged. Detected. Repairs initiated. Repairs initiated.
Okay. Ooh. had a stupid argument on Twitter the other day. This, can't remember what he's bloody called. Something of orange. But he's a bit obsessed with raccoons for some reason. Can't think why. But he said that, St. Carlin? George Carlin? Would be a Conservative if he was alive today. And I'm like, don't think so. The conversation stream was massive. And he wouldn't have it. He kept arguing and arguing and arguing. It was like fucking bollocks. Like a bloke who was a hippie and he was anti-conservative. All of his humour was anti-conservative, anti-establishment. Oh no, he'd be a Trump fan. I'm like, what the fuck? Trump's not anti-establishment, he's part of the establishment. You don't get multi-billionaires who are fucking not part of the establishment. Ridiculous. Then he goes and tries to bring... I was joking with some friends. This is now a Task Force X operation. On there.
You'll be working with members of the Suicide Squad until the task is complete. I assure you, they will be on their best behavior.
Then he comes in on that and he's arguing all them, and then he goes and brings in an absolute load of dregs of YouTube.
But we need you to place the dispensers around the area.
Says
My
and
boys
bloody
will come in and set them to release the fumes.
Anonymous
that should
Pog.
weaken him enough to help
I'm
you
like,
against him. Just keep my crew safe so
fuck
they can
off,
do their
mate.
job. Once he's neutralized, we can administer liquid form antigen directly into his system.
Like Sinatra says, is an authority on everything.
The power of the green
This is a
now
bloke
serves poison ivy.
who altered
You will become
Wikipedia
fertilizer
on
for her children.
the numbers of people killed in the fucking Holocaust. Just so his, well, I think he probably just wants to screw her. There's no friendship about it. Aiden Paladin, I don't know why anyone would want to sleep with her. She's got crazy bits written all over her.
This
I'm triggering a dispenser here. Keep him busy while I do it. Deploying fumes. Now, cover me.
But she really is bonkers. But she created a listing on Twitter by saying stupid things about the Holocaust. And then, when she was called out on it and proven that she'd lied, she claimed, oh, well, I'm going to go and commit suicide now.
I'm going to get this dispenser up and going.
And that's the sort of person you expect to be sort of validating your position on comedians who are dead.
Deploying fumes.
Oh, fuck off, mate. Told him about 5 times I didn't want to continue the conversation because I'd already won it, because what he was saying was bullshit, and he wouldn't leave me alone. Like, Jesus Christ, mate, you've lost. Get over it.
I'm prepping the dispenser. Keep him off me.
Even funnier today, I don't normally check my back up Twitter. He left comments on that as well. It's like, fucking hell, mate. Talk about screaming for attention.
Deploying fumes. Now, cover me.
Still, that whole internet blood sports crowd, that's all they do, is that they get upset and angry if you don't pay them attention. I'd actually consider me being on the Kumite as the most embarrassing thing I've ever done, probably ever. Especially after seeing the way that they treated people who totally owned me.
Keep him busy while I do it.
You know, they've stabbed pretty much every person that they've known in the back, especially if they were anything before the Kumite. Anyone who's actually had a sort of background before that. Well, I was amazed that they were trying it on with bloody Sargon of Akkad.
Perhaps I have something to brighten your day.
I can't stand him myself, but fucking hell, he's higher on that bloody tier than anyone on that bloody stupid stream. You know, I can't stand Cole because he won't admit that he's a conservative. But you know, the sort of idiots they get on the bloody Kumite, they're no way in the same league.
Ivy's love.
Thanks. Those things fed me to that bigger thing. I'm gonna need therapy for a long time after this.
This is Ivy's world. Join us or die. Tremble like a leaf, flesh being. Stay away from Ivy's creations. These spores will feast.
Get mate troll. Don't get it. Can I play with you? Well, I'm going to bed in a minute, so no.
Open wide! You got to last.
Trigon is using his daughter, the Titan Raven, to spread his foul energy. Then he will destroy her. Both she and the city are doomed unless we stop Trigon now. Find his demons on the rooftops and destroy their dark conversion vortices.
Where's the fucking police station? Whoa, what's that? Shit. Ah. Whoa. That is one ugly dude. Now, please be back at... Oh, no. It's not police station. Where's the police station? No, I'm off to bed. Toodaloo.